For nearly 2 decades, our dedicated research has tracked changes and trends defining the litigation landscape, offering valuable insight into the challenges faced by organizations of all sizes across key commercial sectors. This year, more than 400 corporate counsel in the United States and Canada participated in Norton Rose Fulbright's Annual Litigation Trends Survey to share their outlook for 2024. The findings revealed that organizations faced more regulatory proceedings in 2023 compared to the previous year. Class actions around bank and financial fraud are also on the rise. Concern is also heightened in regard to cybersecurity and data protection issues, in part driven by uncertainty around risks posed by developments in artificial intelligence. Environmental, social, and governance concerns were also top of mind for many respondents. Let's dive into the key trends affecting organizations today.
With data volumes growing exponentially and a record number of cyber attacks in 2023, organizations are increasingly taking note of cybersecurity and data privacy issues as potential dispute drivers. We also saw a sharp uptick in the proportion of organizations experiencing litigation in these areas. More than half of respondents in financial services, healthcare, and retail say their organizations were more exposed in 2023. In fact, more respondents say they are concerned about cybersecurity litigation in 2024 than about any other type of litigation. Organizations experienced a wider array of class action issues in 2023. Class actions related to financial fraud and environmental, social, and governance saw a significant increase over last year.
3/4 of organizations polled expect IP exposure to rise or stay the same in 2024. 40% of respondents cited patent disputes as a key driver of IP disputes, with almost half expecting their exposure to grow even more in 2024. IP was a particular concern for retail, technology, and energy organizations, with large increases in IP dispute exposure in 2023. 31% saw their U.S. Patent Trial and Appeal Board proceeding dispute exposure grow in 2023. 46% of respondents expect the increased use of AI technology to contribute to IP exposure over the next year.
Environmental, social, and governance disputes are a top concern for in-house counsel, as organizations are stuck in a tug-of-war between ESG regulatory pressure and vocal opposition from many stakeholders. More than 2/3 of our respondents indicated that their ESG exposure had increased or stayed the same in 2023. Among those concerned with environmental disputes, the top concern was greenwashing litigation. Similarly, anti-greenwashing rules featured prominently among our respondents' concerns.
Regulatory proceedings were on the rise in 2023, with the majority of respondents saying they were involved in at least one. What's more is that the average number of proceedings these organizations encountered also grew for the 3rd straight year. More than half of respondents view these regulatory compliance challenges as potentially increasing their governance dispute exposure in the year ahead. And finally, in-house counsel attribute this to both federal and state regulatory changes as organizations face a patchwork of regulatory regimes.
When it comes to the Canadian landscape, Canadian respondents were much aligned with their U.S. counterparts. However, there are 3 key differences that are worth noting. First, it's expected that arbitrations will increase significantly in 2024. Second, it's expected that there will be an increase in regulatory investigations in 2024. And lastly, Canadian respondents were far more concerned with the impact of governance-type disputes around issues such as board composition, executive compensation, and conflicts of interest.
Go to litigationtrends.com to download your copy of the report and explore the latest litigation trends and benchmarks. And join us at the Annual Litigation Trends Summit on Wednesday, January 31st for a practical discussion about what your organization can do to prepare for the year ahead. Reserve your spot today. We look forward to seeing you there.